me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, gotta feel the tension. In my thoughts.
Welcome back, everybody. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video. Today we are going to discuss someone that I haven't really talked about too much, but I think it's someone that we really need to start talking about. And that is going to be Jaelen Phillips. You know, Jaelen Phillips has come onto the scene, and I don't understand what is the deal with people talking about that he is underwhelming or, you know, didn't live up to the first. The guy is doing great so far. This is his first 2 years in the league, and he has just shown that he is steadily improving every single day. And I just think anybody that's saying that he's underwhelming doesn't really understand football and doesn't understand, you know, the actual concept of how someone gets better every single year. So we're going to talk about today. There's an article in the Finsider right now that he has, and NFL.com. There's an article, and NFL.com has put Jaelen Phillips in the all under 25 team, which is basically the players that they think are doing a really good job that are under 25 years old in the league right now. You know, there's Sauce Gardner, there's a bunch of different people on there, and Jaelen Phillips has made the list, which really is kind of a achievement in itself, and also showcasing that even NFL thinks that Jaelen Phillips has been one of the top young players coming into this league. And we'll go over right now. So we're going to read this article, and it's going to start off with: the Miami Dolphins fans have incredibly high expectations for outside linebacker Jaelen Phillips heading into the 2023 season. And why shouldn't they? The 24-year-old pass rusher started his career red hot, breaking the Dolphins' rookie record for sacks with 8.5 sacks. Phillips followed his record-breaking season with 7 sacks, but he got better in every aspect of his game, finishing the season with 61 total tackles and a staggering 25 QB hits. It's crazy. In year 3, the new defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, calling the shots, many believe Phillips is ready to break out and become one of the NFL's elite pass rushers. Nick Shook is an NFL writer, and he has basically written that Phillips may fly a bit under the radar, but those who've had a chance to watch him play will likely agree with this choice. With 15.5 sacks in his first 2 NFL seasons, Phillips is already producing at a level worthy of his draft billing as a first-rounder in 2021. I expect to see him on a number of lists for breakout candidates entering 2023, and for a good reason. At the time, many fans wanted Najee Harris or any other pass rusher on the clock, because obviously Jaelen Phillips was, you know, he was more of a project, but he's starting to turn out to be a really good project. But after 2 seasons, I think many would agree the Dolphins did what was best for the team, landing an all-pro caliber player. Now with the Fangio in town, Phillips is poised to take his game to another level. Here's what he said in June when the beat reporters were asking him about the offseason. You know, the opposition watches these too. I've been continuing to hone my craft and really trying to refine my moves, so I'm not just a jack of all trades, master of none. I'm really trying to lock in on what my repertoire is. To get to the point where I'm impacting every game in any way possible, just getting more comfortable and confident, continuously trying to grow with that. We all think big things are coming for Jaelen Phillips. So what we are talking about here is, again, this new age of the NFL. You look for this crazy, awesome, whatever, you know, obviously there's a 1 in a million type of Patrick Mahomes, but what we have to understand too about certain players is it may take them longer, but you want to build that in the player. You don't want to have a 1-year wonder. There's a lot of rookies that come out and do amazing their first year and then suck because they never hone their craft. They use athleticism, and they don't actually use building their actual repertoire of a professional football player. Jaelen Phillips has been doing fantastic for the first 2 seasons. The first season, obviously, he had more sacks because there was a lot of blitzes, so he would get to the quarterback. There were games where he had 3 sacks in one of the games. But the type of defense that we had was not sustainable. And now with the new type of defense, it is going to rely much more on Jaelen Phillips having one-on-one matchups, which, if you look last year, I would say probably 90% of the time, Jaelen Phillips won those. So I can't find the stat, but I know there was a stat that basically shows that Jaelen Phillips was one of the top 5, getting closest to the quarterback. So he got 7 sacks last year, which is still pretty good for a second-year player. but also he was getting to the quarterback just in the nick of time that they would get the ball off, which is going to be different this year. You know, when you're blitzing, you are going to have people throwing the ball quicker, because if they can diagnose the blitz, they are going to just shoot the ball to whoever is open. And what happened was Brian Flores was actually a lot better at running the defense than Josh Boyer. So last year, people got open much quicker, and people understood it much better what they were trying to do, because the defense really didn't have the philosophy of really honing in their craft. Josh Boyer didn't really know what he was doing. So this year, what you have is you are going to create time for the pass rushers to get to the quarterback, which, if you look at Jaelen Phillips before, he gets there quick. I mean, like I said, 90% of the time he's getting super close to the quarterback. They are just getting the ball up. I saw it all last year where he was just like an inch away from getting the quarterback. You know, and it's you want to create that time on a defense. And we're not talking about 10 seconds, but we're talking about they hold the ball for more than 2 or 3 seconds. And then you get your pass rusher to go one-on-one with that offensive lineman, and he has to win. Jaelen Phillips has come into this season ripped. He looks so much different than the last 2 years that he has come into the offseason. And just looking at that, it showcases that he is starting to learn, which is, first, you have athleticism. That's usually what rookies come into the league with, is that you have the athleticism and you have the unique athletic abilities to get you to be good enough to be at this level. The next thing comes from your mentality, how you learn, just the little like half-second tricks that can get you closer to the quarterback for a pass rusher, or for a quarterback, the little half-second tricks to move out of the way of a sack, things like that you don't know. You're just using athleticism when you first get into the league. Now when you start getting a couple years in, you start getting your mentality right, and you start making sure that you are now approaching the game where these little things become continuously habits that you build over time, seeing that these things work. And then when they come into game time scenarios, you are able to utilize these traits in a way that will allow you to be the top 1% of players versus just the average player. Jaelen Phillips has all the physical abilities of the top 1% players. He's fast, he's strong, he's physical, he's, you know, very smart. He's got everything. And, you know, the thing is, when he was coming out of college, that's why he went to the U, is because he was just more of a jack of all trades, like he said, and he didn't really master his craft. He was just super athletic, and that's what got him there. Now he's starting to hone into the same type of mentality that I think everybody's going to remember Cameron Wake had, where he had this, you know, unique amount of ability, but never really honed it in to complete his game until later on in his career. And then when Cameron Wake came on, I mean, if you are a Dolphins fan and you don't know who Cameron Wake is, look him up, because Cameron Wake was one of the most exciting players that we've had on this team for so long, and Jaelen Phillips is turning into that. I think he also broke one of the records that Cameron Wake had when he was first in the league. So, I mean, it's just one of those things that Jaelen Phillips is becoming, I think he's becoming elite, man. And, you know, honing everything in together, he's just going to be a superstar coming into this year, especially with the defensive scheme that he has, where he has just that extra second to get to the quarterback and allow himself to get that extra second to grab him. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to change everything. Just even the 25 QB hits, I mean, that's probably going to be more this year. He could turn into the top pass rusher in the league, because the last defense that we had was not capable of allowing the offense to slow down for a second. With a new capable defense, you now have Jaelen Phillips getting mismatches, whereas before, you know, you have blitzes, but they know who to pass protect. They know, okay, so Christian Wilkins, Jaelen Phillips, that's who you got. That's who you have to block straight up off before. Now with Vic Fangio, you have to block him, but you might get into a situation where he's one-on-one. And then if that's the case, then first off, you don't know who else is coming if you do double team him, because there could be somebody else coming, because there's so much disguise. And second off, you have to hope that your offensive lineman holds him. And that is what the defense relies on, is it allows the pass rushers that are pure pass rushers to have one-on-one situations, and they need to win. Jaelen Phillips has won most of his one-on-one situations every single year he's been in the league. You know, the first year was great. The last year that we had, I mean, obviously he had one less sack, but the amount of pressures and the amount of tackles that he has. And just if you watch the motor, I mean, I remember there was one against, I forgot which team, where Jaelen Phillips literally was on the left side and the guy was running on the right, and Jaelen Phillips runs all the way across the field to tackle him. You don't just find that in players. There are only specific players that give that amount of effort to be great. And that is going to be the difference with Jaelen Phillips coming into this year. And that is why I think he is just going to be ridiculous. He's going to remind us of Cameron Wake. It's what's going to happen. But that's going to be the video today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, hope you have a great rest of your day. Fins up, baby. Peace.